doomerism is sexy. And the reason I mention this is because there is an entire category of the world that is talking about the downside of AI and the negative impacts of AI on society, the fact that we need to regulate it, the fact that, to be honest with you, not only regulate it, which I fundamentally agree, but the idea that AI is going to kill us, that it is going to be an existential risk to humans. And I see more and more people talk about this with little to no data, right? They're literally just making these claims with no data. And I feel that if you can't make if you can't make a claim without any data, then it's really just a religious belief. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I see this a lot on social media, where the people that are cynics, the people that are doomers, they are the ones that get the clicks. I mean, our entire media landscape is based on doomerism. You only see the bad, you only see the negative, and that's what people want. That's what gets the clicks. And unfortunately, being a cheerleader is seen as being dumb, and it doesn't get the clicks, okay? Unfortunately. And so I'm just generally an optimist. I'm generally a cheerleader, which makes me look dumber. But that doomerism is sexy, and I see it with AI right now. So what do you think about this concept of doomerism is sexy? And disagree with me a little bit.
I wish I could disagree with you.
Okay.
But I actually fully agree with you on this one. And I am and my sisters, if they were to see this, they would laugh because they know exactly this, where I'm like I'm headline smart. Okay.
Headline smart.
Yeah. So I know all the headlines, but ask me the details. I know nothing.
Love it.
And we have a lot of conversations.
By the way, that's the vast majority of the world. Okay.
Yeah. The only difference between me and other people is I think I read a lot more headlines.
Right.
So I know a lot more shallow stuff.
Yes.
And it's funny because like when we talk about current events or politics, my sisters will like go deep on something, and I'm just like, we're already past the headline. I have no idea what you're talking about anymore. And so for me, again, it kind of goes back to the show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. And you said it. People want clicks. People want, like, you're incentivized to get the plus ones on everything. So you have to be eccentric in your view. There's
not even eccentric and negative.
That's right. And you have to be kind of, it has to be negatively outlandish for people to want to click and learn more and think more, or you wanted to try to start a little bit of controversy. Positivity is not controversial, unfortunately. Yeah. But I agree with you about that concept of doomerism is sexy because it's also resisting change, right? People don't want or maybe don't care about what's possible.
Right.
And they want an answer. Like it's the same kind of thing around AI where people are saying, well, how does this exactly work? How does that work? How does this work? Well, we don't know yet. We're inventing it. When the internet first started, do you think people knew exactly what it was going to do? No. We all build it together. And unfortunately, right now, I think what the doom side of me says is that we've become very self-focused. Like we're very individualistic versus being very communal and societal in our thinking. And I think that's a fear, like based on, it's some sort of fear that is causing us to be this way. But I do think that we can make the positivity and the cheerleading sexy again if we can think about things that are outlandishly positive. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is when we think about the negative, we lean so much towards like the outliers that it kind of is like extra scary. But imagine if you could think of something that's like extra exciting, like something that is as unbelievable but on the positive side.
Right.
Maybe that would, but maybe we're just not conditioned anymore to think that way.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate. I do want to get your take on the AI thing. I see people on, whether it's on Twitter or other places, where they will share a negative view of AI or the metaverse or whatever, and you'll see a whole bunch of people in the comments and agreeing with them. It's very. I guess what I'm saying, it's very difficult to argue with the person that's the cynic.
Yes.
Right? While it's way easier to disagree with the person that's the cheerleader, because I don't know. I don't know the psychology around that, but I observe as the cheerleader, I fall into that camp of people wanting to debate me on these issues, which I'm happy to debate, but it's like they automatically want that. That's just how they see the world, and maybe that's just the world. We just have cheerleaders and cynics. Maybe that's just the world.
Yeah, it is the world. And because we have all these public forums for people to be sharing those views, I think like begets like. And now the more negativity,
Right.
the more we all jump on the negativity bandwagon because we're all in the same public forums, right? And I also think a lot of it is just people don't know enough. And nobody wants to admit that they don't know enough.
Yes.
Right? Like think about
Exactly.
AI right now. The AI has actually been around for a very long time. It's not new. Generative AI is the thing right now that everyone cares about. Oh, this is going to replace my job. This is going to replace my marketing agency. This is going to replace my whatever. No, it's not. It's actually not. It's going to maybe make you be better, right? It's going to force you to level up. It will replace some people, just like, they give all the examples of like the fact that the elevator replaced the guy who cranks the elevator to physically take you upstairs or whatever.
Doorman, yeah.
That is going to happen. But so what? That's not that big of a deal. But if you think about generative AI right now, that's what's occupying all the conversation. But if you look at machine learning, for example, or other forms of AI that people have actually been using for a really long time, they're pretty amazing. Like I worked at a company, an Edmonton-based company, Matricon, that got bought by Honeywell, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I didn't realize that they were a machine learning company.
Wow.
Yeah. And the reason I say that, and maybe I'm wrong here, so is this like armchair expert? Where's Monica to do the fact check?
There's no fact checkers. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
So when I think about what we did at Matricon, they would collect data. So imagine you're an industrial plant, like a oil refinery. Okay. So your plant is massive. It's potentially located in tons of different places. They collect data off all these sensors so that when an alarm goes off, signaling something unsafe, it can actually start actioning that alarm right away. And it can then start to predict when these alarms are going to be set off. So you can actually prevent alarms and all these things. That's machine learning. Nobody called it that back then. And maybe they did, but nobody cared and nobody understood it. But if they had said, oh, we're selling AI back then, people would have been like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. But now everybody's talking about it. So you have the opportunity to talk about a really small section of it.
So what do you think? Like, as a marketer, leveraging generative AI, I'm sure you've been playing around and using it. Like, tell me where you're at.
Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me, Sean, because now I'm going to embarrass myself actually, which is that I haven't used a ton of generative AI.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I don't disagree with it. I'm annoyed by it because people are making it seem too simple. Like they're putting a prompt into ChatGPT and then spitting back the answer and not thinking anymore and just giving that as the answer. So like, and I have a friend, and if he's watching this, he will know that I'm calling him out on this, but he'll send me stuff and I'm like, you wrote this ChatGPT, right? And he's like, yeah, how'd you know? And it's because we still need to be smart about what we put into the prompts to generate something unique and valuable. So I like the idea of generative AI. I just don't think it means that we should be lazy. I think it means that we should challenge ourselves even more.
Yeah.